Beautiful morning. This is Wednesday, May the 25th, 2023. And I want to welcome you to the Wednesday edition of Shortcuts for Your Soul. My name is William Michael Forbes. I'm a spiritual medium, a channel, and an intuitive life coach. And I want to say things are going to be changing really fast on this planet over the next few months. These 4 weeks particularly are going to be very interesting on Gaia today. I have with me the energy of the beings that call themselves the Galactic Federation. And they're talking about the 7th galactic movements. And I asked, why are you pluralizing? Why is it pluralized? They said, because these movements in this galaxy happen regularly, but they happen in a sequential order, originating from the galactic center to the farthest outreaches of the spirals, and then it resonates out into the greater universe to interact with other galactic systems throughout this particular universe, at least this quadrant of it. They say that the quality of emotion, the quality of energy that a particular body or organic organism is in determines to a great extent the effects of these galactic movements. You will be experiencing the 7th of these galactic movements. It is important you please understand that the quality of the emotion, the energy that a particular structure or organism exists in plays a role in how these movements in these galactic positionings affect time, space, and matter in your realm. It's important you understand this, that the quality, at least with regard to humanity, the quality of the emotional energy that you are in as a species will determine to a greater extent how this movement will affect human consciousness, how it will affect human biological expression, how it will affect the world on which you exist. Every single existing body in the heavens goes through an evolutionary process. Every single molecule of an existing body, whether it is organic or what you call inorganic, all life, and we want to stress this, that all that exists is part of life, because you might denote one part of what you experience as being inert or unconscious does not mean that it actually is. But this process that you are in is determined to a greater extent by the way in which you are feeling collectively as a species. This cannot be manipulated or controlled to any good extent, but it can be brought about that your species can be brought into an alignment voluntarily, if you so dare to consider this possibility, that you can bring your species into a voluntary alignment of a quality of consciousness that will enable the integration of this movement into your collective unconsciousness in a far more safe and effective way than resistance will. The process of integration occurs most favorably at the higher spectrum of consciousness, what you would call a frequency of love. The most difficulty occurs in the lower frequencies of these energy, in the vibrational state that you would call fear. At this particular time in the existing timeline that you find yourself, you will notice that there's a great deal of fear being expressed in the planet. Do not be too concerned about this at this time, as a lot of this fear is what is being liberated or released from your collective unconsciousness, because you have accumulated it over the last 10,000 years. You've accumulated this fear and are in the process of releasing it. But now the release must come in the acceptance of love and the relinquishment of fear. The acts, the thoughts, the motivations of fear must be released in order for this movement that is occurring right now and will continue to occur for at least the next 20 years of your time. This release of fear and the restoration, or we should say the resurrection of the vibration of love, is essential and crucial. There will be a great change in the number of souls that will be incarnating in this dimension, depending wholly upon this change in frequency from fear to love. If you are able to relinquish your fear and restore your love in its place, you will find the most wonderful change that could possibly occur in this physical dimension you call Earth. There are other galactic systems that have already undergone this change, the vast majority of which have moved towards a higher expression of love, away from the lower vibrations of fear. It must be consciously and collectively chosen voluntarily. You must voluntarily choose fear or love. Again, we are giving labels to a vibrational process that has no beginning nor ending. It is can go in either direction of what you would call up or down, in or out, backwards and forwards. It can go in any direction for any period of time at either spectrum. There is no end to one side or the other. Now, we had mentioned to you that there are many species that have already undergone the seventh movements. If you understand that you are next in line for this process, you will also give you an understanding why there are so many of us observing you, watching. Again, we can offer certain information, we can offer certain technologies, but we cannot push or encourage you to make a choice that you yourself must make from your own understanding of how you experience this condition of life. All of the mechanisms that currently exist as an effect of fear, and all of the mechanisms that exist as an effect of love, must be evaluated and determined to be useful or not to you. The vibrations of love tend to be life extending. The vibrations of fear tend to be life diminishing. The higher in the spectrum of love that you exist, the more extended your experience of time and space is. In other words, your lifespans will increase, and they have been increasing for almost 200 years now. This increase is due to the fact that creative intelligence has been liberated. The expression of creation has been liberated. The expression of creation is an extension of love. The expression of creation is an extension of love. The need to be very conscious is essential in this. The greater your collective awareness is engaged in a process, the more likely you are to succeed or fail. If you are conscious more of love's expression and surrender your attachment to fear's expression, then this process of life extension will continue to move forward. We are appearing to more and more of you in the actuality, what you call physical time space, where you see our devices and our ships. Some of you are even communicating directly with us. Please understand that those of you are communicating with us, those of you that are seeing us are in vibrational alignment to the frequency that we operate on. Those of you that do not see us or do not hear us are in a different vibrational framework of perception. Understand that perception is wholly determined by the vibrational state that your awareness exists in, and your ability to take that state of awareness and embody it, to bring it into an expression that works through the body. We will continue to observe as we cannot directly interfere, But know this, if you are seeing us and you are hearing us, you are in a vibrational state of perception that is unique to yourself, and you have chosen it. Please understand, you have chosen a vibrational state of being that is closer to what we call a frequency of love than it is closer to a frequency of fear. You have created all of the existing framework to make this movement in collective unconsciousness very quickly if you understand what we're about to say. You have created all of the necessary social and political systems to make a collective transition from fear to love. You have all the systems in place to do this, but you do not have the necessary knowledge being disseminated through these systems to facilitate this transition, but it is still possible and time still remains that you can do so quite quickly. We estimate that if you apply the knowledge of the frequency of love through these mechanisms you've established, what you call your education, your social and political systems, if you begin to articulate expressions and vibrational representations of the frequencies of love in the form of knowledge, action, thought, and creativity, then you could possibly shift your consciousness from fear to love collectively in a short span of 12 years. We say 12 years because that is the time it will take an entire generation to be raised in such an environment that is based on the foundations of these higher frequencies of love, compassion, kindness, playfulness, curiosity, excitement, compassion for other life forms. And this is where you tend to misunderstand the definition of life. You tend to define yourself in terms of your humanness, but you do not define the intelligence of others as being equal to your own. These other life forms on your planet have an intelligence that is already rooted in an extremely long period of life. Do not determine the extension of life by the extension of a single biological lifetime, but the extension of life is what is handed down through what you call your genome. You have creatures on this planet that have existed for hundreds of millions of years and still exist to this day because of the vibrational state that they exist in. They have gone through conditions of movements in the preceding times, the preceding galactic movements. They have survived these things because their vibrational states determined that that's what will occur. And those that did not survive because the vibrational state that they were in did not support the extension of life. The propagation of a particular species biologically is an extension of life. And there are, as we said, many creatures, some from what you call your dinosaur age, that still exist today because their consciousness is in perfect divine harmony with all other forms existent upon this planet. And those that exist in harmonious vibrational alignment to these other life forms tend to exist longer on the planet than others. You might find it ironic that you will recognize that many of the reptilian species on your planet have existed for hundreds of millions of years, and your science seems to have proven this at last. But even humanity has existed here for at least 9 million years, which means you are getting some progress relative to these other species. But there are other mammals, there are other creatures, and there are other subaquatic animals that have also likewise existed for hundreds of millions of years. In one sense, humanity is somewhat lagging behind these other, what you would determine from your scientific perspective as lower life forms. You are lagging behind them in your capacity to align to an extension of love and to exist in the natural organic harmony that nature currently resides in, on all spaces, places, and times within this universal framework. There will be great movements in your earth. There will be great movements in the space around your earth there will be what you would call intrusions and disturbances, all of which can be altered and ameliorated by the change in the collective energetic consciousness of your species. In the collective and energetic consciousness of your species, you may initiate very different changes in what you call geophysical time space. Even in the space of the solar system, you have very little understanding of the role that you play, as other civilizations on other planetary bodies in this solar system have learned to exist very differently than you have. But there is still time. There is still time. And you are not alone in this. There are those of you that are interacting with us that are working actively to raise this shift in consciousness, to raise it up to become a choice for each of you to make. If you choose to begin using the existing systems, you can affect this change in 12 years, this shift from the dominant expressions of fear, which are now conscious for all of you to see, and the definitive choices and the change in frequency that love presents. Love as a vibration, presents a very different set of creative outcomes than does the vibrations of fear. When you learn to align yourself deliberately to one, you experience a very different reality. But each in and of themselves are a creative expression. The vibrations of fear, and again, we are using labels very carefully here. They're simply vibrations of creation, deliberately executed by a conscious intelligence aware of itself. So the vibrations of fear and the vibrations of love are simply to denote an expression of life and consciousness at different frequencies. One tends to prolong life as an experience in physical existence. The other tends to diminish life in the experience of a physical existence. Your sciences will begin to understand that the frequency of love is very specific, just as the frequency of fear is very specific to the human collective unconsciousness. If you can isolate one frequency or another, again, your sciences are not quite at the place where they can detect and utilize, amplify, and distribute certain emotional codes and frequencies. This will come in the next few years, but in the wrong hands, you will find that power and control for the sake of a noble outcome can have very detrimental effects when you begin to segregate one part of yourself as being more special than another. It will have its own detrimental effects that you may not be able to predict, even with your extravagant money and your extravagant technology, but it is very simple compared to the technology that we utilize. But this place in isolating the vibrational frequency of love and then understanding how that breaks down into language, how it breaks down into thought, how it breaks down into actions of the body. This is where the vibrational manifestations become obvious to your senses, but understanding how you can do this to establish a vibrational frequency of love as opposed to a vibrational frequency of fear, to be able to maintain and distribute that vibration. Those that are in alignment with it will be induced into it naturally. Those who are not in alignment with it will find conflict with it. And this is true on the reverse. If one is in fear, they can perceive those in a vibrational frequency of love as a threat to themselves. But this will not be much of a concern if you understand this process of induction, being able to induce a vibration into the collective unconscious. This is being done right now by many individuals around the world that are in active processes of what you call meditation, that are working specifically on the levels of energy and vibration as an active, deliberate creation to uplift and change the functions of the human collective unconsciousness. This is what we came to communicate to you. That is very important, that this 7th galactic movements are underway. This is the 7th that your science is now beginning to detect and verify and validate that there are fundamental changes cyclically happening that you have been able to determine have occurred before and have occurred before that and before that and will occur after this. But each subsequent expression of those that survive these movements are those that tend to align themselves with the frequency of love. The frequency of fear cannot exist in the same space and time as the vibration of love, and vice versa. But always energy organizes itself. Even if you choose not to consciously align yourself to love, even if you choose to not do this, it will be done as a matter of law, that energy and matter organize themselves vibrationally. You do not have to concern yourself if you are already in a state or frequency of love. You need not concern yourself with ideas of survival. You simply must do what you need to do from that expression and that vibration of love. Yeah. It's interesting because these beings are around us, and we were down at a beach here in Toronto a few weeks ago, and we watched one of the ships above, and they're around the planet. There's a lot of these ships are around the planet, and people are seeing them. They're photographing them in video. We have more technology around, to more eyes and ears than humans have eyes and ears now with technology. Get yourself in alignment to this frequency of love. It will make a huge difference. That includes, what do you put in your body? What do you eat? What do you drink? What is love as an expression of thought? What is love as an expression of action? What is love as an expression of a feeling? And can you strengthen it? Can you amplify it? Can you send out? Absolutely. Good morning. Hello, Jana. Welcome, Marigold. Hello. Hi, Drusilla. Wonderful to see you, Dara. For those of you, Drusilla's asking a question, and they just tell me the answer. The answer is those of you that are able to recognize the multidimensional nature of your awareness, recognizing that the body is simply a medium through which you put and express the energy of thought and emotion, and that you as awareness, being a non-physical entity, are not bound by the same constraints of time and space that your biological organism is, or that your mental framework is. You as awareness are multidimensional by nature of your awareness. Having the ability then to differentiate your awareness from the conditioned ideation of who you are right now will allow you to become very conscious of these other dimensional realms that you can function on. Even being in different points of time and space simultaneously exists in your capacity to recognize that your awareness is not bound by a single point or locus of time and space. That you may be able to extend your awareness to even the sun, or to another galactic system, or to a finite point of time and space even. You can move your awareness anywhere when you understand this process. There are many of your governments and militaries have spent great effort and energy in understanding and applying this knowledge. And yet any one of you do not need to spend great resources to do so. Simply learn to train your body to be still and quiet. Learn to train your awareness to be free of it. And you can join us at any time in these higher frequencies of love. Again, we use words very carefully. The word love in this context simply denotes a higher vibrational state of expression that is not based in a vibrational expression of fear or suffering. Love enhances and extends life, whereas fear tends to diminish and shorten it. Understand that we use these words very carefully. Great question, Drusilla. Thank you so much. Question from, hi. Hello, Fire Diva. Hello, Jacqueline. Question from Jacqueline. During the night, I felt someone is trying to get my attention. Who is this, and do they have a message? Thank you. There's a being by the name of Ashtar that's been reaching out to you now for a while. Yes. She's been reaching out to you for a while, and it definitely is she. Because that's how you tend to accept feminine energies more readily than masculine. There is a masculine side to this one too that will be presented to you. She says to try and stand upright in your awareness. Do not be distracted by my presence, but be present with me. What do you mean by that? So when she's there with you, stay aware of yourself and be in the energy of the two. The communication, the transference of information will happen when you're able to be in your own center with her at the same time. So you're aware of your own being, your own energy, and you're aware of hers, and feel the exchange of information that happens then. Because a lot of people get distracted. Wow, look at that. And now the communication can't happen because you're now focused out there. You have to be in like a receiver and receive the information from this being, Jacqueline. Wow, great question. Ashtar, very cool. Question from Farhadiba. I once saw a lot of beings, various during meditation. One which I recognized as the Pleiadians, Ashtar as depicted by us, was it then and when where they're trying to tell me that, again, the same principle still applies. Don't get caught up in the fascination of them. When we saw the ship the other day, it was like it was the Arcturian ship. When we saw it, I didn't realize I was so fascinated by the ship, and it wasn't until the next morning that I woke up at 4:00 in the morning and I got the message that they had transmitted to me. And when you connect to these other dimensional beings, it's important to stay in your own center of awareness so that you can receive what they're communicating. Don't be like, wow, like people get starstruck and they get so don't do that. Stay in your energy. Be open to receiving as opposed to being enamored, and you'll find the downloads will happen much easier that way. Question from Rosa. May I have a message from my guides? Thank you. There's something about a cup of tea. This is there. It's sitting in a very private place, and I'm just seeing this a very private place. They're saying they want you to go to this very private place and bring. They're saying the special tea. I don't know what the special tea is for you, but they're saying bring the special tea and sit and sip and let your body be at rest. Let yourself feel us. Again, but this is with whatever the special tea is. They're saying that you know what the special tea is. Anyway, take that special tea and go to that spot. I'm just seeing it's not a very big spot. It's a very quiet, private spot. It's almost like you're in an enclosed space, but it's a very sacred space too. That apparently you know this as well. But to go there with that tea, to sit, to be open and receptive to hearing from them. Oh, thank you for that super chat, Drusilla. Really appreciate it. Got time for one more question, guys. Yeah, hang on. They're just also wanting me to communicate. It is imperative that you understand the need for you individually to be in alignment with love, more so than to seek to convince others. The demonstration of your expression as an extension of love is more valuable to you than your attempts to convince others to do the same. Be that which you seek to see in the world, and those that see you will seek to understand it. For love is like a very sweet perfume of flower, that all who smell it will want to know it. So be that. That is your greatest offering, to be that which you would seek to see in this world, and you shall see it indeed. Wow, thank you. Last question from Lauren. While meditating, I had pressure on my hand. Who was that? I'm getting that was the first word that came to my mind, Lauren, was Master Jesus. He's trying to get you to like that touch in the hand wasn't just a touch in your hand. It was to give you a direction to go in. There was a direction to go. He's trying to get you to go in this direction. Can you be more specific? I know this is for her. She must know this. But it's A gentle touch for a gentle direction. A gentle touch for a gentle direction is what I'm getting at this time. Great question, Lauren. And also want to remind everybody that this Friday, we've got the Ascended coming in, and it's going to be on redefining freedom. And on this Saturday, May the 29th, I'm really excited about this meditation on Saturday. It's called Heal Your Body. And in brackets, I was told to put the words law of suggestions. Law of suggestions. And I'm told that we're going to be going through an entire process of cultivating and raising the frequency of the different parts of your body. We're going to go from the top of the head right down to the soles of the feet. And it's a process on amplifying the highest vibrational frequency you can in your body at this time from where you are. And again, I have no idea who's coming in, but that's what they gave me this morning. I also want to say, starting July the 8th, we got our Mediumship 101 Masterclass for those of you that want to explore mediumship as a mechanism for cultivating greater awareness and communication. We begin our Mediumship 101 Masterclass on July the 8th. So you want to go and register for that now. That's about 3.5 weeks from now. So please go and register for that. It's only $199 for the three-week program. And repeat students, it's only $99. So please go to my website, williammichaelforbes.com, and register for the 101 program. We got an amazing, our whole schedule's lined up for this year. So all the events that are coming up in this year, and there's going to be some new events that we're not quite ready to put out yet. They're still working on some things with us about that. That will be coming out also this year. I want to say thank you, everybody, for coming out. I want to thank the Galactic Federation for coming in today. I want to thank the other beings that came present with us all. And I want to wish you all much, much love. And remember, we are at a very powerful time. If you understand vibration, if you understand that you are literally an entity that's able to generate a vibrational state and radiate it out, even without saying a word, it puts this whole ascension movement on a whole upward climb. That's important for those of you that are in the ascension movement, that are constantly trying to raise the frequency of the collective unconsciousness. Don't be discouraged by what you see going on in the world, because you're seeing all the old stuff being brought to the surface. All the fear, all the control, all the power, all the manipulations are being revealed because they're not hidden in the subconscious, hidden in the back rooms anymore. They're being brought out as the vibrations of love are being activated in the subconscious of the collective unconscious of humanity. And we're seeing a lot of this negative energies being brought out to be transmuted and transcended by us all deliberately and collectively. Again, I want to thank you. If you want to support this channel, you can do so through my Patreon page, patreon.com. Also, please remember to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so that you'll know when we come live, which we do 4 times a week on this channel, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and Saturday at 10 a.m. Saturday is the meditation portion of the program, so please join this, share this information, get it out to others. I want to wish you all much love. I want to say thank you so much, and I will see you on Friday's edition of Shortcuts for Your Soul. And again, we will be looking at redefining freedom with the Ascended. Redefining freedom with the Ascended. Much love, everybody. Have yourselves a wonderful, joy-filled day. And from Toronto, bye for now.